Hi, and welcome to our remote orientation. I'm just going to go through a few of the slides that we would have gone through together here, and a lot of the other information was provided by Jennifer Hyde in our email. But I wanted to walk through a few of these things as we would ideally want to build a sense of community right up front. So at least here, I can talk about some of the things that we would have talked about together and get you thinking about your place as a member of the 8th cohort in the Assessment, Learning, and School Improvement EDD program. So let me start off with a quick overview. First off, as a member of this cohort program, we expect to develop and cultivate a community of learners. The experience and background and knowledge that you bring to the table is what makes this program so unique. The uniqueness of our courses and all that we have makes a huge difference, and I think is much better than the generic EDD programs. But the bottom line is that when everything comes together, it's a matter of bringing the expertise and the knowledge that you guys bring to the table so that we can learn with one another as we try these things out in the real world. As such, that demands that we're going to be approaching this from a very situated lens. Learning happens in our context, but it also happens when we come together. And so there's both a collective and an individual emphasis on this learning aspect, and that's why we make this central. This notion of us as a community of learners. Next up, our program holds to a dissertation, which a lot of EDD programs have gone away with. We believe that it will make you stand out when all is said and done, and also it helps us to kind of put a stamp on and make certain we're very confident in the quality of work that you can do at the academic level, as well as at the practice and the professional level. So what do we do to support you along the way? Just a few things to kind of get you thinking there. One, we have 3 seminars aimed and built into the program cohort sequence already in there. They're the 50 level courses. So when you see 7050, 7250, and 7450, those are research seminars built by our team for the specific purpose of really helping you get prepared and equipped to succeed and thrive on your dissertation. Additionally, we want you to think about leveraging your coursework. And so throughout the program, we're going to be consistently asking you to think about how does this relate to your dissertation. Some of us may not know where that is early on, but some of us will kind of know that right up front. And if not, nothing else, you'll still be able to leverage things because these broad areas, assessment, learning, are central to what we do for school improvement. And so in virtually all cases, your dissertation is going to link directly from the coursework that you're doing. And so you're going to really be able to leverage the work that you did in there towards your dissertation at the end. Our curriculum is completely unique. Every single course in this program was built from the ground up. There are no courses that we took from other existing programs, and that was because we brought people around, so including Bob Aker, Rick Dufour, Bob Marzano. A group of these people came together and reviewed and looked at the material, and we came up with these unique, specific courses that really kind of get at what people need in the K-12 world. Not to prepare future faculty, but prepare people to lead schools for improvement right now. So it's a very unique curriculum. I know you guys have heard a little bit about that, but definitely contact us with questions. We are very proud about that curriculum. We think it's a fantastic opportunity for you to engage with stuff that matters. Notice just real briefly on your calendar, Jennifer is going to provide you a copy of that calendar. It's maybe in drafted form currently until it gets finalized, but what you'll note on there is it's going to be mapping you out from beginning to end of the program, everything you need to know. Courses are color-coded, and you'll also see on there some blue dates. What the blue dates mean is these are the dates that we will use if something happens. If wild weather comes through and they have got to shut down campus and it affects one of our weekends, we are going to move to one of those blue dates. So you can look through that and know for the next 7 semesters every single course meeting night and alternative night. And so we ask you to hold those and check that out, but hopefully that will help you manage what is a big undertaking, but manage it a little more effectively because you can have those on your calendar right now. So what does it take here to get to the end here? There are several features we'll just talk about real briefly. 60 credit hour program of study. There are 4 different core areas. Assessment, you've got 4 courses. Learning, 4 courses. School improvement, 4 courses. And then because we're training you along the way to be researchers and academics, there's a research core. So that accounts for 48 credit hours of coursework. You will additionally take 12 hours for your dissertation, and taking those dissertation credit hours is something that you individually will do once you figure out what you want your dissertation to focus on, and working in consultation with your chair, which is someone who will work one-on-one with you on that project. I will help you along the way to get that figured out, whom you're working with, what your project is, and what that looks like for timelines. So we will, again, build that in to try to make it as user-friendly as possible. But there's the general first requirement: completion of the 60 credit hour program of study. Second, every single one of you will submit a research article through a peer-reviewed outlet. That may come from a spin-off of your dissertation right towards the end, or we may encourage you to try to do so during coursework when there's specific opportunities to do so. But we think, again, that's going to push you to engage this academic side at the same time doing it through the lens of research that you're doing in the schools. And so it's going to bring these two things together. We're going to keep talking about this notion of you as scholar, as academic, but also as practitioner, the professional that you are. Related to that, you'll also have a research presentation. So while you will submit an article and there's no requirement that it must be published, you will present your research somewhere. And again, along the way, I will be sending out, actually Jennifer will, because I just share them with her, and she is our wonderful liaison through which everything flows. And she'll share out with all sorts of conference opportunities. But anytime you have coursework, a project you've done in a course, you could turn that into a presentation for a related conference, and you will go out and present that research at one of those. Next component of requirement for graduation is a mastery of knowledge and skills. There are two times throughout the program where we'll have a comprehensive exams. These are not your old-fashioned comprehensive exams where it's a multiple choice assessment, and if you fail, you're kicked out of the program or pushed back or forced to stop out. That we use them as a formative checkpoint for the purpose of giving us feedback, but also you feedback. And so you will have the comprehensive assessment of your knowledge base around these core areas: assessment, learning, and school improvement, and research. And it will followed up with what do you need to do as a result of how you perform. So they become formative checkpoints that tell us what to do, not tell us where you should go, which group you're in. You're going to continue in with us. We use them to make sure you get to the end with the skills that you need. And lastly, you've got a dissertation. Obviously, when all is said and done, the culminating experience of your program will be the public defense and publication of your own dissertation. And so that will, again, set you apart from a lot of other EDD programs out there where they do group work, their presentations. Some of them have done away with it entirely and have a case study project. You guys are doing that all along the way, and on top of that, you're going to have this. And so you will, at the end, have a very strong portfolio, curriculum vitae, documenting the work that you've done as a scholar practitioner. There's one additional thing I'll just mention here, just to get you thinking about there. There is an option. Our program has been approved by the state as a couple years back now, since 2018, for a pathway to licensure. The program was not built for that purpose, but for anyone who is interested to do so, what you need to do is contact me. It is an opt-in track. The quick Cliff's Notes version, I can give you more information for those interested, but the quick version is this. All of your courses you're going to be doing projects in. If you're going to be pursuing this pathway, the latitude of what your project could look like goes from like this to this, because you have to align your projects to specific TILS standards, Tennessee Instructional Leadership Standards. And so that narrows the scope of your projects. And then there are 2 modules that you will take at the end. They're fully online. We cover the costs for them, so they cost you no extra money. But those are on finance and law, neither of which we have courses dedicated to. And then, of course, you'll also have to pass a praxis exam. But with those things and building all of your work along the way, I should say as well there, you'll also be working with a mentor, which is a current practicing administrator in your district. And that mentor will review every project you have related to those TILS standards. And once they sign off on it there, that's your documentation to build this big portfolio of the work that you've done related to those standards. And we submit them to something called live text. So anyway, there's the kind of Cliff Notes overview of that. If it's something you're interested in, step number 1 is explained on the next slide. So let's wrap up. Just a brief introductory video to highlight some of the things that maybe aren't as clear in the writing that we would have talked about more here. Please read through that information provided by Jennifer. Check it all out, read through it there, document questions, create yourself a checklist, and contact both either myself or Jennifer with any questions that you have. Either one of us should be able to help you. There are 2 specific tasks I'd like to ask you to do, and that's email us with 2 things or 1 thing. If you intend to pursue the administrative licensure pathway, just email us saying, I intend to do that. We just like to create a list of that so we know how many to expect to do that, and to make certain that we've got the materials you need for it. Secondarily, one of the pieces you're going to find here is a letter of commitment. And look through that and think about that. And when you say, hey, I'm ready to commit to this cohort, what we'd love to encourage you to do as part of this first step of joining this collective group is print that off, take a pen, put your name right on it, and snap a picture of that. Send us that as a JPEG, as a PDF, however you can get it to us. But that way we can kind of add you in as officially as a member of our group. And obviously we'll be continuing in contact throughout here. But to close up, let me just hit you with one of the things that we are really excited about. Over the past few years, our team has been consistently working to improve our own efforts. And one thing we've done is we've really clarified what our mission is. And our mission is to train scholar practitioners who are change agents to improve learning. That's you. We've chosen you carefully because you are already out there in the real world making a difference. And so you are practitioners, you're professionals. But we want to bring together this notion of scholar and practitioner, taking a specific, very focused look at what I do with an emphasis on the data that supports inferences that are actually justified rather than just going with gut feelings. So you're going to be really trained and equipped to lead change that makes a difference. And obviously you've heard a bit about this already here, but we expect and are asking that you are going to be part of this as a change agent. Not a change for change's sake, but for the sake of improving learning. And as such, that's going to equip you to be an absolute fantastic leader of and or leader for learning. So, well, there's my not so short intro, but I really am excited about getting things together. Wish we could be together tonight, but I am looking forward to working with you in the near future. Please contact us with questions and have a wonderful